Greetings! You're watching breaking news on the Creative Society TV channel. Watch in this episode.
On March 16, 2022, a strong 7.4 magnitude earthquake occurred off the coast of Fukushima Prefecture, Japan. Unfortunately, people were killed and about 200 people were injured. The tremors lasted about a minute. Buildings, roads, bridges were damaged and transportation was temporarily suspended. The earthquake caused power outages, affecting more than 2 million households. I'll pass the word on to the breaking news reporter from the US next.
Hello, this is a breaking news reporter from Florida, USA. On March 12, 2022, a devastating tornado struck the city of Ocala, Florida, USA. Wind speeds reached over 170 kilometers per hour. A state of emergency was declared in some counties. Many homes and vehicles were damaged. The storm felled trees and damaged power lines. A severe storm raged across the northern U.S. state of Texas on March 14th. Gusty winds, heavy rains, and large hail damaged homes, trees, and cars. Most hail fell in Rockwall County. It covered the ground in a thick layer of ice. A tornado swept through Fannin County during the storm. On March 15th, the city of Retamas Patas Province, Peru, was hit by a massive landslide. About 80 houses were under the soil. The incident occurred in the morning when many residents were in their apartments. Unfortunately, there were missing persons. A search and rescue operation was conducted on site. Immediate measures were taken to help the affected population.
Unprecedented flooding continues in Eastern Australia. On March 15th, the state of New South Wales received more than 140 millimeters of rain in Broken Hill, setting a new record for the region. It also triggered another flood in the state. Unfortunately, casualties have been reported. About 2,000 lightning strikes have been recorded in the vicinity of the city. The topic of natural disasters will be continued by the breaking news reporter from Africa.
Hello, this is breaking news reporter from Lesotho. Tropical Cyclone Gombe passed through northern Mozambique and southern Malawi from March 11 to 13, 2022. Unfortunately, there were fatalities and injuries. The cyclone brought heavy rains, flash floods, and strong winds up to 190 kilometers per hour. In Mozambique, over 3,000 houses were flooded or destroyed. In the provinces of Nampula and Zambezia, over 30,000 people were left homeless and without means of livelihood. Water supply and cell phone service was disrupted in the affected areas. The cyclone caused flooding in 5 areas in Malawi. Many buildings and infrastructure were damaged. Most roads were flooded. Same day, a fatal landslide occurred in Ampang, Malaysia. Unfortunately, there are fatalities and injured people. About 15 houses and 10 cars were destroyed and damaged. Earlier, from March 5 to 7, prolonged heavy rains caused widespread flooding in a number of cities, including the capital of Malaysia. In the affected areas, more than 1,200 people were moved to evacuation center. In the first half of March, due to heavy rains, flash floods occurred in central and western Indonesia. Unfortunately, there were fatalities and injuries. Many houses were damaged. 4 days later, there was a strong 6.7 magnitude earthquake near Pariaman in Sumatra.
In mid-March, Europeans witnessed a powerful dust storm. Eyewitnesses from different countries noted that this time the intensity of the phenomenon was much higher than usual. Such dust storms lead to a decrease in air quality and therefore have a direct impact on human health. Watch next more from an eyewitness from a breaking news reporter from Spain.
Hello, this is the breaking news reporter from Spain. On March 14th, 15th, 2022, a dust storm hit southern Europe. Storm Celia brought sand from the Sahara Desert across the Mediterranean Sea to Spain and France. Light levels dropped dramatically and air quality deteriorated significantly. In the Spanish cities of Almeria and Murcia, roads, buildings and cars were covered with a thick layer of dust and debris. Residents of Paris, Munich, Madrid, Lyon and parts of Austria felt the effects of the storm. In addition, Storm Celia covered the Canary Islands. The island of Tenerife was hit hardest by the storm. Powerful gusts of wind caused strong waves, as a result of which several people drowned. The storm also brought heavy rains to the archipelago and snow fell in some areas. The wind knocked down many trees and toppled traffic lights. I would also like to add that in the area of Malaga, where I live, this is the first time I have seen such a dust storm as yesterday. Usually there is a lot of dust coming from Africa here, but I have never seen it in such an amount before as yesterday. Everything was absolutely yellow. It was impossible to breathe without a mask.
A breaking news reporter from France and an eyewitness from Greece will tell us about what else happened in Europe.
Greetings. This is the breaking news reporter from France. On March 12th, 13th, 2022, there were intense rains in the south of France, which caused severe flooding. In the departments of Aude and Arrow, an orange danger level was introduced. The most critical situation was observed in the city of Béziers, located on the banks of the Orbe River. Here, in a short period of time, the water level in the river rose from 4 to 12 meters. Because of the flooding, several roads were closed. Residents of some areas were forced to get home by boat. At the same time, much of northern and central Greece was affected by snowfall. Cyclone Philippos brought abnormal frosts to the country. Schools in the suburbs of Athens and other cities of Attica were closed due to the bad weather. Also, traffic was suspended in some regions due to icing and snow.
Hello friends, my name is Ilya. I wanted to share my observations with you. Today on March 14, 2022, these observations are related to the weather and climate. I do not remember that it snowed in March. On March 11th, 12th, 13th, we had snow. It's such a cold March. I don't remember anything like that, but I remember a song that said, "It's never cold in Greece. It's never been cold." Yes, probably we should forget this song, because it's not relevant. The weather changes very quickly and suddenly. I can imagine that it will be hot again in the summer, and there will be earthquakes again. The only thing I would like to say to all people is appreciate and respect each other. Unite, because in divided society we will not succeed. only in unity we will be able to do something. Stay safe, friends. See you.
Hello, my name is Camilla. I live in Nov Hagalif, Israel. I want to share my observations with you. March of 2022 has become one of the coldest in the last 112 years. Temperatures were very low for this time of the year, dropping to 0 and -6 degrees at night in some areas of Israel. This is quite unusual at this time of the year for this country. On March 15th, it snowed throughout Israel in the cities such as Tzfat, Jerusalem, Nov Hagalif, and others. And this is totally, absolutely abnormal for this time of the year in this country. Note that the climate is changing and changing very, very dramatically. It's impossible to hide it, and everyone can see that.
On March 16, heavy rains caused flooding in the city of Bukavu in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Powerful streams of water swept away people and vehicles and destroyed hundreds of houses. Unfortunately, casualties have been reported. One of the major paradoxes of climate change is the sharp contrast in weather patterns. For example, when flooding in one region abruptly turns into drought and vice versa. Next in the issue, an eyewitness and environmental conservationist from Uganda will tell us about how climate change has affected the lives of people in Africa.
Hello, my name is Mustafa Gerima. I am a former biology school teacher from Uganda who now turned into an environmental conservationist. The situation right now is different from what we had, I think, 4 to 5 months ago. We had almost too much rains in our area, and I remember having reported on my Twitter handle one day that our crops are getting stunted. The rains were really beyond our usual capacity we get, and just all of a sudden we have experienced a kind of drought, and now the drought is not the usual one we had 40 years ago. And I think if you can see at my background, the whole place is completely dry, and we only have pockets of trees that look green, and these are those deciduous trees. But the whole situation is alarming. All the water ponds have dried around, and it's not easy for us to access water, and so it is a big blow. And right now it's not easy for us to access even vegetables, the green leafy vegetables, and even the animals do suffer looking for grass to eat. So I think it's a kind of a disaster already. All this is brought about by the climate crisis. Our women have to go long distances looking for water spots to draw water for the domestic use. Just a few minutes ago, when we started this debate, you saw in the background children were going home, and these are children who are virtually going home on angry stomach. So the whole situation is really alarming, and we're worried. We have had that kind of massive migration from the West African side, where they migrate into Middle East or sometimes to the European countries. People are being migrating, and majorly the migration is as a result of livelihoods. And food is everything, and without food you can't do anything. So people are being moving from one place to another in search of better, food and agricultural situations. I think we as an international community should instead go into the aspect of addressing the root causes of the problems, other than now trying to come into to help the effects. The global community we need to act now. We just need to act now, or else we will be blamed by the generation to come. Because I think what our forefathers left for us is not what our generation expect to get from us. We are on the current situation, and we have worsened things, and so it's really very heartbreaking that found ourselves in this state just because of putting economy over nature. I believe that the ordinary people can still bring a change, and the wave of change can sweep the whole world.
If you have witnessed a climate anomaly, send your video footage to climate@creativesociety.com. Climate change is making more and more of the planet uninhabitable. And what will happen given the escalating climatic cataclysms? Taking into account such developments and under conditions of preservation of the consumer format, can we as human community survive?
We have already now crossed into a climate changed world. Not something is going to happen anymore. It's something that is already happening. We are now in a world where every single day, somewhere in the world, a climate extreme event is going to take place that will break the world record of that particular place. And it's going to get worse with each year going forward, at least for the next 10, 15 years. We can look to exponential impacts of climate change.
So the biggest concern I have with climate change is drought and its impact on food supplies. We're going to see a situation where multiple droughts worldwide are going to synchronize and cause a massive food price spike like we've never seen before, and cause just a worldwide sort of event that's going to be economically devastating, and then it's going to be devastating to people as well, causing starvation and perhaps famine that would kill millions.
The facts and evidence presented at the last year's and today's conference explain what has been happening to the climate, including desynchronization. But tell me, why is virtually no one talking about this? Can't people see that? What other proofs do you need? When you will be standing neck deep in the water and drowning, or your child will be drowning, will you also ask for proof, or you will act without delay?
The main crisis is the moral one. It has exceeded all limits. In our allegedly civilized world, there is plenty of violence, slavery, and exploitation of children's labor. While on the background of the climate change progression, a new problem has arisen: the increasing number of refugees who need human support and understanding. People driven by the intolerable conditions of existence come to someone else's country with a hope for humanness, but encounter enmity, rejection, fear, and often even hatred. Will such humanity, with a consumerist attitude to one another, be able to survive in the time of global cataclysm? The answer is obvious.
We do have a chance, and in order to survive, we need to act. Most people don't know what's going on right now, and that's why it's so important to inform them, to inform and not to demand a decision from anyone, but to decide for ourselves and take responsibility. The world leaders cannot decide it, they rule only small fragments and pieces. 6,000 years ago we were divided into communities, and we still exist like this up to this day. But we all are human beings and we can change everything. It is extremely important for us to inform everyone in a short period of time to come to a decision that we want to live.
It's becoming increasingly obvious that the whole world is collapsing, and it is happening right in front of our eyes. We still have a chance to get out of this global crisis of humanity. A creative society is our only last chance.
Many people say, yes, all of us agree, we want to live in the creative society. Please explain, for instance, we have gathered all together as the entire humanity, so what's next? Yes, we have no politicians, we ourselves decide how we should live and what we should do, but how will that affect the climate? You know, I believe this is happening just because in people's heads there is not even the slightest idea of what the creative society is. Well, this is merely my personal opinion. People understand what the consumerist format is, or some other various models such as capitalist or communist. Well, people went through this, they have an experience, but they have no experience of the creative format. In their heads, I emphasize. However, the genetic memory remains that once there were such times and people lived that way. And there are also a few historical mentions that humanity used to be united and everything was fine. There were no wars and no made-up external enemies of any kind. There was one enemy in everyone's head. People fought against him. And they fought quite successfully. Therefore, the creative society had existed for so many millennia. Until one fine moment, when a little bit more than 6,000 years ago, there appeared such a concept as power. Hoarding and power. An external enemy emerged, and there appeared what? The division into rulers and slaves. And nothing has changed to this day. This very model had taken root in people's heads, so people do not understand how will we actually live, and what will the creative society give, what will change.
In the creative society, conditions will be created to improve the quality of life of each person directly, not for the enrichment of private individuals. Every person will be guaranteed, by birthright, the free provision of all basic necessities of life. A creative society is a human-centered society. The development of science, healthcare, technology, and other sectors will be aimed at improving the safe and comfortable existence of society as a whole. Learn more about the Creative Society at creativesociety.com. Thank you for being with us today, and see you soon on Creative Society TV.